Hello there, kia ora. Look, I get a lot of people reaching out telling me that after a while, my videos all seem to come across as kind of depressing because of all of the depressing things that are in them. And I totally get that. So I thought for the end of this week, I would attempt to do something a little different and try and tell you about positive things that have been happening. And I'm not used to it. I've not tried it very often, so let's see how this goes. And I'm going to start with a really easy one. Blake wanted me to pass on a message to everybody. He's back home now and he's on the road to recovery. He wanted to thank everybody for the good wishes and the thoughts and prayers that were sent out to him, and he's hoping to be back at the wheel, as it were, trying to get things sorted within the next couple of weeks for both his campaign and other things that he's out there doing at the moment. So glad to see that Blake is on the mend. See, look, happy news, positive news. Let's try it again. In Kirikiriroa, Hamilton, a bus stop outside their iconic Shearer's music store was recently updated. It went from this drab, boring, really depressing looking seat to this fantastic, thematically linked in, fully functioning bus stop with seat and a space for people for wheelchair access to be able to access the public transport system within the city. I like it. It's kind of cool. It's really neat to see how they've incorporated the musical theme there. Okay, I'm getting used to this. Right, let's try another one. New Zealand First MP Casey Costello has been forced to apologise for what they call a act contrary to law. It's not the same as breaking the law, but it goes against the spirit of the law that she was not following, which was around OIAs. After a couple of media organisations requested OIA information around policies that she put forward around freezing taxes on cigarette sales. That she still maintains she doesn't know how that managed to end up on her desk. Apparently, there's some sort of mystery lobbyist just dropping things on MPs' desks in the hope that they become laws. But she did apologise for it, as she was ordered to by the Ombudsman. And that was before it was discovered that she'd actually withheld from Cabinet the fact that repealing those smoke-free laws would cost an extra $46 billion to the government and take even longer to reach their net zero smoke-free goals that they had in place. Okay, maybe that one didn't end on the most happy, positive note out there. All right, let's try another one, okay? There were reports that came out this week from Stats NZ that showed that the price of food is finally dropping for the first time in 6 years. The majority of the drop's actually been driven around a range of what we'd call staple foods, like tomatoes, fruit and vegetables, meat and poultry specifically are the big ones that have had the drops. So the food prices are bringing down. It's such a good thing that Judith Collins was already sitting there crowing about it. The same report did point out that every other area of food, the price is still going up. Olive oil, for example, has had the most increase of any kind of food group that we sell in our supermarkets. The cost of eating out also rose about 4%. It's also the third highest price index since they started recording these things in 1961. So overall, food prices actually increased about 1% in June compared with May. But over the last 12 months, they've gone down a little bit. That data set that they released as well also pointed out that transport and accommodation prices are still going up. They showed an 11.6% increase for transport over the last 12 months, despite a drop of about 4.5% over the last month. It also saw a 4.5 increase in rent over the last year. You know, that downward pressure really doing its job. Okay, so maybe this wasn't the best idea of a good news story. So sorry. Okay, how about this one? This one I think you're going to enjoy. Gay furry hackers have stolen data from a right-wing think tank in the United States around something called Project 2025. For those of you that don't know, Project 2025 is basically a handbook that this institute has organized. That's a guidebook for whoever is the next Republican president to go in and change a whole bunch of things to be more like how they want it. Essentially, it would get rid of people being hired because of how good they are at the job and make sure that they're politically neutral, and instead put in people who are loyal to a specific president to be able to get through the policy changes that they want to get through, which include weaponizing things like a woman's right to choose abortion. So yeah, I'm sure that went really well. But all the data that they had, well, it was stolen by a hack that was organized by a group of gay furries, which just feels like the most American comedy news headline ever, but it kind of makes you smile because it just does. It just, yeah, it's brilliant. Okay, that's my attempt at good news this week. I Don't know how well I did. I probably could have done a little bit better, but good news is actually really hard to find. If you check out the algorithms that are feeding you your news stories as well as what's actually on our news sites, you'll see that there's a lot of negativity and a lot of drama and conflict. And that's deliberate because that's what people go out there and read. Finding good news stories is not always an easy thing to do because that's not how we consume media and it's not what draws clicks and draws eyeballs, which is how our news media makes their money. So if you do come across something good, savor it, enjoy it, relax, and try and take it in the moment because it shows that the world is not all falling to pieces out there. Sometimes good things do happen, and sometimes we have to make our own good things happen. And sometimes you need to end the week on a relatively positive note because otherwise it can get all kind of depressing.